Are you burned out and don't know it? Well, today you're going to know it. Hi, I'm Dr. Lisa Ann Homick from Homick Advanced Chiropractic. I do chiropractic adjusting in my office, of course, and I also do BFA coaching, brain first always. And you don't have to live near me to benefit from that. You can get coached anywhere. But you do need to find a chiropractor who lives near you, or you can travel. I don't know how far away you are, but I'd be delighted to meet you. But this is Brain Snob, episode number 96. Burned out and don't know it. And here's where I'm going. A lot of people are very sick, but call it normal. In fact, I was going to write a book called I Was Sick and Thought It Was Normal, and I just never got to sitting down and doing it. I always seem to distract myself or find excuses to not do that. But for a long time, I thought my life was pretty normal, and everybody else probably felt the same way. It was in my early 20s when I started actually figuring out how to do healthier things and be healthier and make quite a transformation that blew my mind away. And I said, oh my gosh, all these things I thought were normal. You grow up a certain way. You grow up depending on how many injuries you've dealt with as a kid, how many bones you broke, how often you were sick, how often you went to the emergency room, and how often you took medications. And depending on if you did it a lot or did it a little, you thought it was normal. And a lot of things I thought were normal, I cringe at today, now at my age. I actually look back at the recent past, and I think I wasted about 10 years of nonsense, stupidity, where I really could have been healthier a whole lot quicker, a lot faster. I was doing all right in my 20s and 30s, but I could have been better. I just was stuck on some stupid, stubborn things, and I know you are too. Don't waste the 10 years. If you don't want to waste 10 years or 20 years, come to me, get some coaching, and find out why. I'll tell you my whole personal story of how I wasted so much time being stupid and just listening to bad advice. I even gave the advice, and I hate myself for it. I'm forgiven. I've forgiven myself. But if you look back at the other video, when good people repeat lies, I was repeating a lot of lies. I'm sorry for that. But now I want to tell you how you can get rid of burnout. I want to teach you about the signs of burnout. Because you may be sick and not know it. You just accept it as normal, or you tolerate it. Just say, oh, that's the way it is. I'll worry about it later. I know people who actually said, when I retire, I'm going to get healthier. And by golly, one did. I was amazed because I was really worried. But he says, yeah, I can't do good things for my health until I'm actually retired. And he did it. But what is that saying? That our jobs are so bad, they're killing us. Yeah, so if you've struggled for months or years with a complicated health condition, I'm going to tell you, you're burned out. And if you find it's difficult to set time aside to work on your health, you're burned out. If natural health approaches that work for everybody else but don't work for you, you are burned out. You are worrying so much about your health challenges that you're getting anxious and depressed. You are burned out. And if you have these signs of brain impairment, you're burned out. Here they are. You have joint stiffness, you have fatigue, digestive problems, high blood pressure, and brain fog. All signs that your prefrontal cortex is gypped. It's not focusing on the right things in your body. You're burned out. What's burnout? Well, the quick definition is you're so fatigued you can't even think about how to get yourself out of the rut. You are down and out. It takes effort to do every little thing. You hate your days. You hate waking up and going to work. You just bristle at the thought of anything. You're walking on eggshells. That's the quick definition. I focus on the mind and body, both. I'm not going to leave one out. So, if your fight or flight response is just overwhelmed and over exaggerated, you're burned out. Let me talk a little bit more about that. What parts of your life seem particularly challenging? Is it your work stress, your family stress, your financial stress, overwhelming demands? You can answer yes to all of them. And these stresses feed into additional problems, such as less time for yourself, or you're disorganized, or you feel rushed. You're too rushed all the time. You're forgetful. You're feeling lost with no satisfying purpose. You're burned out. And you will probably have these health challenges. They've crept into your life slowly. So to you, they're normal, or you're just tolerating them. They're annoying, but there's no real specific treatment for them, as you've probably tried to figure out going to different doctors and getting answers. But you may have chronic fatigue, anxiety, depression, chronic pain, memory problems, throat problems, speech difficulty, breathing problems, sweating, heart rate changes, blood pressure changes, and learning difficulties. All rolled up into one, just one big burnout soup. You may have developed sensitivities to light or sound or certain foods or mold or even electronics and electricity. You can't get near electric things. You have to avoid them. Or you have an increase in allergies. Like a sudden, this never bothered me before, but now it does. So it doesn't make sense to you. You may already have an autoimmune dysfunction that you're aware of, and you're stuck trying to figure out how or why or what to do about it. You may have digestive issues, especially irritable bowel, and you may have inflammatory conditions, anything that has itis on the end. Arthritis is one, any type of inflammatory condition. Natural approaches don't work for you. You read about them in the magazines. They're like the next greatest thing to slice bread, but they don't work for you. And you react badly to most medicines and drugs. If you are somebody who has severe side effects, which everybody does, but it's more severe, you've got a hyperactive fight or flight response and you're burned out. You have an unexpected negative response to supplements. Some people do. You take a supplement that's supposed to be helping you feel better, and it doesn't work out that way. In fact, you feel worse. That's burnout. In fact, it's a detoxification reaction. So you feel worse before you feel better. But you just don't know how long to put up with the feeling worse. It's easier to just put the brakes on it. But that's a burned out body. That's a body that's too exhausted to heal. And that's a major problem that a lot of healthcare practitioners don't know how to address. When the body reaches that severe point, that means the vagus nerve cannot respond. Your parasympathetic nervous system has no energy left to actually heal. That's a chronic severe problem that most practitioners don't recognize. And sometimes I stumble on it as well. I've worked with some people that are so depleted, it seems almost impossible to help them get their vim and vigor back. That's just long-term damage to connective tissue. And it happens from burnout. All these things excessive at one time. If you know certain specific mental and emotional triggers, if you are aware of them, like you've dealt with them for long enough, you know what triggers you. And you know exactly what I'm talking about, even though I'm kind of vague right now. But certain things trigger you. You go off the deep end. Somebody does something to you that's very innocuous, very, very nothing. It's a nothing burger, but you rage over it. And you know you don't need to. It's inappropriate. But it happens anyway. That is a trigger. It's an emotional trigger that means you're burned out. Your nervous system is so frayed and burned out and fried that tiny little things that wouldn't bother you make you just explode. I'm not criticizing. I'm just noting that you have this sensitive trigger. You already know it. That's a sign of burnout. What can you do about it? You've tried everything. I know you have. And you're hitting dead ends. Your brain and body are so burned out, you feel like you're just hanging by a little rope. You're hanging off the cliff. You're at the end of your rope. I don't want you to be at the end of your rope. If you've got a pulse and you're breathing, you have healing ability. You've got that innate ability to heal. You were born with it. It's still working. We have to give it a little nudge. And we do that here in my office with a Vagus Reset Star session. We need to stimulate the brain, and we have to go all barrels rolling. So we stimulate your brain with all these good, happy things at once, along with the adjustment. The chiropractic adjustment always changes brainwave activity, improves them, but we also get you super, super relaxed, and we go from there. It's relaxing, and it's meaningful, and it helps you take a break from that intense world that's burning out your vagus nerve. That's why I call it the Vagus Reset Star session. STAR stands for soft tissue adhesion release, and it also stands for STAR, stress taming adrenaline release. So we focus on the brain and the adrenals with chiropractic, essential oils, deep breathing, quiet, or music. All different ways to just flood the brain with good sensations that help shift the gear out of that fight or flight, frazzled state to the relaxed vagus state for healing and digestion and homeostasis. Call me up. Set up a time for a Vagus Reset Star session. If you don't live near me, get in contact with me and do some BFA coaching so we can address all the things I mentioned that are eating at you because your nervous system is so fried that you just don't know where to turn to next. You're so exhausted, you don't know how to get that bounce factor back into your life. I do the BFA protocol in a way that I believe is meaningful and purposeful and rewarding. Sometimes it takes a while. These problems were going on, accruing for years and years and years, so you need patience. But I think I can give you that uplifting look into the future when you realize what your body's actually capable of. We just have to expose it to that positive, stimulating, centering for your brain. Your brain is distracted. We're going to get it back centered. Thanks for watching. Look at the other blog posts. Look at the other videos. Check out the Brain Snob podcast, which is not video, but just talking on the Anchor app. And just call me. Thanks for watching.